episode 21, Be a Man, part 2. In this episode, we'll be discussing the grind, screwing your emotions, growing up, beauty in simplicity, and the future thanks you. Now, just a quick intro here. As I mentioned in previous episodes, unless this is your first time tuning in here, according to Google, with this being the 21st episode of the Unwavering Believer podcast, we have now joined the 1% club of all podcasters. It's crazy to think that in joining this club, all I had to do was show up every week. That's literally it. It's not a reflection of my content or my downloads, literally just showing up every single week. If this principle is applied to your life, not to sound corny, you literally cannot fail. That was one of the first things I ever learned. One of my coaches taught me, and I think it was in 3rd grade or 4th grade. We were playing basketball. If the other team doesn't score, you can't lose. Essentially, and this kind of applies here as well. If you don't stop, you can't fail. If you never give up, because you truly believe in what it is that you are doing, you literally cannot fail. And even if it doesn't come to any sort of crazy, quote-unquote worldly success in the end, I can assure you learn so much about yourself, about whatever business or whatever it may be that you were pursuing. You're going to learn a great deal, and that alone I'd consider success in my book, but obviously easier said than done. And with that being said, I figured what better way to celebrate this accomplishment of the quote-unquote 1% club than to make a part 2 to my episode with the most downloads, that being Be a Man. So, without further ado, as I'm sure as you all, obviously by the time you're watching this, it will be either Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever, following Memorial Day weekend. So the craziness and all the hectic stuff will be over for me. Unfortunately, my weekend is just beginning. So I'm trying to get everything done here as quick as possible. Try to get as much prep done as I possibly could over the past couple days. But as you can imagine, still a lot of moving parts, things going on. So don't want to rush through this, but let's just jump right into it. So beginning with the grind. At 22 years of age, I believe your life should be chaotically structured, meaning you should be trying anything and everything to the point where your life may seem crazy. However, I'm still a big believer in structure, regardless of how many moving parts you have active. Now, this is going to coincide with the next thing I'm about to say too, but just really quickly, structure, planning things, for me was one of the first things my buddy Andrew Abib actually taught me, was writing things down, whether it's the to-do list for your day, whether it is things you want to accomplish in the long run, anything, write it down. Just write it down. When you don't have things just lingering and floating in the back of your mind, it makes it so much easier to be at peace, because you don't feel like you're always forgetting something. You don't feel like you miss something or didn't accomplish something. It's so much easier on paper, be able to see it visually and not have to go digging deep into your thoughts to find something, especially when you probably have a lot of crazy things going on. Makes it a whole heck of a lot easier. I've reached the point where my mother, as well as most individuals who ask what I've been up to, think I'm crazy. From the moment I open my eyes to lay my head at night, I'm pretty active. Yes, this includes watching TV with Mama Dukes before I hit the sheets. I include that in my schedule of things to do. This can very easily become overwhelming. And as much as structure helps, it doesn't always resolve the underlying stress of trying to, quote-unquote, navigate many avenues efficiently. For the times I find myself trying to operate my day-to-day with points I don't have jotted down, it almost always 10x's my levels of frustration. Simply because I'm trying to go solely off memory with, as I'm going to mention a lot in this episode, too many moving parts. Okay? So it's, yes, obviously having too much going on is going to be the number one factor as to why you may be stressed out or frustrated. That's pretty clear. I don't need to elaborate on that. But with structure, what I'm getting at is you can find ways to have systems in place to find ways to be most efficient and get as many things done as you possibly can in again, an efficient time span, in getting things done on time and getting them done properly. But it takes structure. To do too many different things and not have them all written down in front of you is how you turn into just a hot mess, essentially. Not that you can't get it done that way, but you turn into a hot mess. And that goes right here with the final point of this topic. With that being said, write stuff down. Simply put, and no other way to go around it. Just write stuff down. I promise you it makes things a lot easier if you're a tech whiz and you want to use your phone, use the notes and reminders and whatnot. I don't really know how to use the reminders thing. Sometimes I put things in my notes. Whatever works for you, works for you. Don't worry about what works for me. Just at the end of the day, have it in front of you. Visually, a whole heck of a lot easier. Excuse me. Allergies. Now, this here may seem a little may get a little aggressive here, and I already have it mentioned here, but Lord forgive me because He knows I don't curse. I don't. But I really want to get my point across. This is something that is very near and dear to me because I feel like myself, along with every single one of you, I'm not trying to play the victim, battles with this on a day-to-day basis. Some more so than others, but it doesn't matter. It's not a competition, but this is very, very, very near and dear to me. So this topic is, for lack of better words, F or screw your feelings. The second you open your eyes in the morning, it's safe to say the better part of your thoughts are negative. From wanting to go back under the covers, dreading what you have for the day, or maybe regretting a decision from the day before. Regardless of what floods your mind, you need to remember one thing, and Lord forgive me, because He knows I don't curse, but fuck your feelings, fuck your emotions, and fuck all the negative bullshit the devil fills your mind with. Instead, get up and remind yourself that you're an absolute savage. If you're not, well, then it's time to strap on your big boy boots and make some changes because this life is yours for the taking. The devil is a liar, and he'll do anything to knock you down and keep you there. It's your responsibility to acknowledge nothing significant in this life will result from comfort and laziness. Now, this isn't a speech to call anyone weak, but to remind those of you of the dog that you have inside of you, and to help those who haven't yet discovered it to do some deep diving into their mind. Now, I don't care if you're 4'8", 85 pounds soaking wet, or 6'8", 285 pounds of pure muscle. A man's willingness to persevere begins and ends with the battle in their head. Yes, a solid physical frame is something we should all strive for, but we must realize that is only half the battle. Right? At the end of the day, you see people who are monstrosities of human beings, super athletes, super wealthy, famous, rich, whatever, athletes, celebrities, whatever you want to call them, all the time, that fall into deep depressions, that genuinely are just not content with their life and have everything that we could ever dream of or want. And we just can't seem to fathom why. And it's because people think that the physical aspect is all there is to it. That everything material, everything external that you could see to the eye, that is what gives a man purpose and can help him be content and joyous in his life. And that's not true. I mean, we have living examples of this every single day of people who struggle, like truly struggle, and they have, like I said, everything that we feel like we could ever want for our lives, right? So it's time to start taking these things in consideration. Realize the real war is what goes on within, the things you can't see on paper, Most people you never even know until, not for most people, but for some people you never know until it's too late, and that's when you really begin to question, just how good of a friend or family member you were, which is not the right thing to do. You can't always just know what people have going on, but it's good to check up on people and know that, again, no matter what you see on the outside, sometimes that's just not what's going on the inside, all right? We all know people like that. Third topic here, grow up. If there's one thing I learned from working straight out of high school, it's that you need to leave the immaturity at the door. Depending upon what it is you do for work, from the ages of 18 to 21 years old, you'll most likely be the youngest guy or girl in the workplace. For me, I started working 2 jobs and putting in around 50 hours a week. I was the youngest employee in both jobs, but not by much. It wasn't until I became a real estate agent at 19 years old that I had to get a grip of my circumstances and grow up real quick. That is, if I wanted to earn respect in an industry where the average age, yes, you could check this according to Google, is 50 years old, and people who work in this field either have prior sales experience, a degree, or both. I had neither. Now, I attribute my relatively quick maturing phase to my faith. In pursuing Christ and being surrounded by people much older than me, I quickly developed an adult-ish mindset, emphasizing the ish. No longer taking an interest in the light partying and drinking I'd take part in from time to time, and becoming more intrigued by the idea of pursuing my dreams for the proper reasons, squashing my TikTok brain, and making every effort to become a better man for my future significant other. The idea of true discipleship, finding my wife, and pursuing financial freedom, not idolizing it, became my MO. This was an extremely foreign concept amongst people not only my age, which was 21 at the time, but even to people much older than me, which was just flabbergasting to me. Now, I'm 22 years old. The interest in partying, which was never truly there, if I'm being honest, I have a lot of witnesses of my friends, anyone that could really second that statement, has subsided for the most part. I found beauty in simplicity, but do still enjoy the idea of catching a Yankees game as I did recently, attending concerts, and of course traveling. Now, I haven't taken part in the second two, concerts and traveling. To concerts, I have not taken part in, traveling not so much, but do plan on making those a reality by year's end, especially the concert aspect, because I actually, due to the two most loving and best, most amazing parents in the world that I have, surprised me not too long ago as an early birthday gift. It's May 24th. My birthday is December 31st, but my mom just, like myself, got a little antsy, couldn't wait, got me, the three of us, my mother, father, and I, I'm an only child, tickets to go see Andrea Bocelli, who I absolutely adore, but I don't want to use that word because I don't like to sound like I'm idolizing people, but genuinely am amazed, infatuated with his voice. Truly, it's incredible. At MSG, Madison Square Garden, and that is another place I wanted to go. I wanted to cross off the bucket list at some point, was to go to MSG. Obviously, I know for sporting events it gets absolutely insane, which is really cool. Always been a basketball guy and started watching hockey a little bit because I know how crazy and fun that could be. But to witness such a beautiful voice, I mean, that's been performing over decades, and it's his 30th anniversary. It's truly incredible to watch. To listen, and to see that in person is just going to be unreal. But yeah, so I'll definitely be documenting some of that and recording some of the day. That's going to be amazing. Cannot wait. And anyways, as a result of this, I've begun surrounding myself with people much older than myself, as previously mentioned. This has helped me learn from people much smarter than I and more grounded. Most importantly, I've been able to spread the word of God and words of encouragement to a younger crowd in an effort of shifting their mindsets before reaching what may feel or appear to be the point of no return. No. I've spoken on the point of no return quite a few times. Does it actually exist? No. Does it feel like it exists? Yep. Yes, sirree. Someone like myself, even who I believe is truly rooted in my faith, who has devoted my life to Jesus Christ for a little while now. I've been in a muck. I've been in a tough spot for a very long time, whether it's my own doing and me lacking, not seeing God's plan for my life, or if he genuinely just wants me here to endure and to grow stronger, whatever it may be. I've been in a muck for a very tough time, or for a very long time. And, it's tough. It's definitely tough. And I feel like I genuinely feels as sometimes like I've reached a point of no return. Like I can't even explain how it is I feel sometimes. Almost like not alive, weirdly like disconnected from the world, and which could be good and bad, but it's tough. It's definitely tough. But, holding on during times like that is what makes you, because I believe there is no such thing as the point of no return. I don't believe in it. So that when times do shift and the Lord, I experience some revelation and breakthrough in my life, that it's not that the rest of my life's going to be smooth sailing, but anything but this, it's like can make everything feel like it's sunshine and rainbows. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And the reason I bring that up again is because the point of no return with Christ, with God at the helm of your life, does not exist. The point of no return. So just some food for thought there. Next topic, beauty in simplicity. As previously mentioned, I've been able to find beauty in simplicity at a young age due to my circumstances. It can be as simple as sitting on my front steps with some relaxing music or practicing my guitar. What I don't have mentioned here, sometimes I'll even throw a stogie in there, a cigar. That's very, very rare. But on some occasion, too, with the right music and the right vibe, sit out there with a cigar, bring my fat little meatball of a dog out there who's 14 and still chugging along great. Cannot be more grateful and thank the Lord more for that. But it's great. And I sit out there with that lard, that meatball of a dog, sometimes the stogie or just us. And it's, yes, it could be repetitive seeing the same sky all the time and seeing the same houses around me, the same four walls, yes. But at the end of the day, it really makes you think and you start to appreciate beauty, for sure. I'm certainly a people person, though. So obviously I enjoy the company of others. However, simple activities on your own forces... simple activities... Oh, sorry, rushing through this a bit. However, simple activities on your own forces you to appreciate your own company and even acknowledges the presence of the Lord, which can be quite difficult in the craziness of our everyday duties. Being someone who constantly longs for the presence of others, it has become a discipline to enjoy being alone, and with time, yes, it does become easier. Finding like-minded individuals who can find beauty in simplicity makes it that much easier. From hiking to beach trips, I believe it's vital to experience nature and entirely disconnect from the world. Learning to prioritize what really matters in life versus falling into the rat race of fame and money. Of course, the pursuit of a good following, regarding how well known you are, as well as financial freedom, in and of themselves, are not bad. It's those who lose themselves in this pursuit that struggle to find their way back. Right now, this has been the story all this time with, is being rich a sin? Is it, or you go and talk into scripture where the Lord says it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. And people take that, I believe personally, too literally, speaking with a lot of people whose opinion I highly respect in this faith, even spiritual advisors at times, that, having money, depending on what you do with it, could actually be such a beautiful thing. You could bless so many people, do so many amazing things. But I believe when people refer to rich, or at least in scripture, it's not just how many zeros or commas you have in your bank account. It's a lot deeper than that. It's definitely a lot deeper than that. It's something I pursued for a very long time, but always for the wrong reasons. And now I'm at a place where I believe it's for the right reasons, and I know it's still going to take time to achieve. But I'm so beyond grateful that my prayers were not answered in the way I wanted them to be answered. Way back when I had won financial freedom and financial breakthrough at 19 years old, wanting a Lamborghini just to show off to, at the time when I was still in a bad place from a prior breakup, wanted to show off to my ex and show off to her friends and my friends and this guy and that guy, whoever, that I have money at a young age. And in reality, it would have done nothing. It would have been a temporary high that would have made me crash and burn. And God knows where it would have led me. Not to Christ, probably. Who knows? Oh, excuse me. Oh, who knows? But anyways, moving on. And unfortunately, I did not have enough time to prep for this. But I could definitely go off the dome here and probably wrap up around the 22-minute mark. Keep it short and sweet for you guys. Celebrating the big 2-1, the big 21st episode for the books of being officially 1%er. Hoorah, right? All right. Final topic here. The future thanks you. Now, when I think of this, or if I were to bring this up to anybody, there's always, it's always trying to find the lesser of two extremes. People who are extremely present and don't even give tomorrow, any thought, any day, any time of day. And there's people that worry so much for the future that they almost like forget they're living right now. And then again, it poses the question, who's to say you're going to wake up tomorrow? And I've really focused a lot this year. I have a lot of goals, a lot of new things going on, going from next to nothing going on to having the most crazy schedule, hectic amount of things going on, where I'm learning slowly to be present. I'm struggling to do so because for a while, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't go to school. So having to find your way is a lot harder, I think. I genuinely believe it's harder because everyone and their mother nowadays requires a degree, except for very few fields, one of them being real estate, which I'm in now as a commercial real estate agent. Outside of that, a lot of positions and titles require degrees. So I've been a big believer in investing in my future for a very long time. I've also believed as someone who has removed himself from the world, and at least the older world, of all the negativity and the partying and the crazy amount of drinking and drugs that goes on out there and all the hookups and whatnot. Removing myself from that, it's always been, even when I don't want it to be, is there by nature sometimes, like a really, really, really small, say a really small chip on my shoulder, that with time just dwindling away more and more. As the kid who didn't go to school, as the kid who decided to follow Christ and not follow the world, blah, 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 that I want to show people that I made it, that I did it. And I have plans to do so, and I know they'll come to fruition with time. I get it. I'm still young too, but at the end of the day, it's still about shifting my mind to an entirely different point where it's gotten very far, where I'm not anymore like, I want this just so I could stunt on X, Y, and Z. That's completely fled my mind, God willing. So I'm grateful for that. But there are still little things like, I'd like to have a cool car sometimes, just to be able to impress a girl who I think is pretty. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Let me just text him really quick. My apologies. I had to answer that. But removing all these negative things from my mind regarding money, regarding status, regarding all things of that nature, I believe that's a big, big reason as to why when I'm praying for financial freedom, praying for some sort of revelation or something to come to fruition here, that it hasn't happened yet, is because my mind needs to be in a better state. I need to truly earn it, for one. I don't believe God rewards laziness. And I think anybody with a half-sized brain could second that. But it's not about that. It's about, it's about when you pray for something, the Lord's going to do it his way. You can't pray for financial freedom, then you're just going to go hit the lottery. I mean, it's obviously it could happen if you're the right person for it, or maybe you just get lucky on an investment or something, or a lucky sale that you don't feel like you've earned or feel like you don't deserve, or just whatever. You gotta really work for it. You gotta really be patient. You gotta trust in the Lord to know that it's coming from Him and not from the world. Because if it just happened and you just blink and it happens and it seems so simple, so easy, why would you even want to give thanks? How are you, someone who's trying to understand this faith, going to want to really rely on God harder when all it takes is like a magic, like a genie in a bottle, just rubbing the bottle and out comes your demand, your wish coming true. That's what the patience comes from. Right? So that's why I think it's huge to want to invest in your future, going full circle now. It's huge to want to invest in your future and play the long game and remove yourself from the areas you shouldn't be, even if it means you're going to be bored in the moment and you're going to feel like you're missing out on certain things, which for me, FOMO completely left the picture in high school. I mean, it was really bad in high school. You're still young, but after that, I just couldn't care less. 99% of the times, actually, it's basically is 100%. I just can't say 100% because there is the once in a lifetime anomaly where I do go out with some of my buddies and, but I don't really take part in much of what goes on, obviously. But I like to say 100% of the time, I'm the one who's home. And people are just going out, doing their thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging anyone, not saying I'm better, you're worse, but my point being for even saying that is because the idea of FOMO is gone in the wind. Goodbye. So that's great. But in the same right too, going back to the being present part, I've struggled for, as I mentioned earlier, for a long time, learning how to be present and not being so focused on everything that's already going to be weighing me down in the future. Because who's to say it's even going to happen? And who's to say you're going to wake up tomorrow? And even if it does happen, who's to say it's going to be that bad? You never know. And then things you look forward to, who's to say they're going to be that good? But I think you should still keep the optimistic mindset for that. For things that you do want to happen, things you're looking forward to, that they'll be great. And the things that you're kind of feel weary or burdened by, or things that are just going to be annoying, maybe, who knows, maybe it won't be that bad. And if it is, okay, you get it over with, whatever. But that's why it's so important to be present, having that sense of urgency for the future while still being able to appreciate each day and little things in each day. That's the goal. Somewhere I'm far from, but that's definitely the goal. Some people are ahead of me. Some people are, favoring one side like I am. I'm way too far focusing on the future than I am in the moment. But again, it's things we all work on, It takes time. And it definitely takes time. But I'm going to wrap this thing up here at the 23 off by 1 minute, 23-minute mark. Just got a lot of other things to get to today. But I really hope that, this means something to you guys, that you could really appreciate it. Because I think there's a lot of value in some of these videos, a lot of things I'm living, a lot of things I'm being taught, a lot of the things are just feedback I've received. So I think there's definitely a lot of things you guys could, make applicable to your lives, or already are applicable to your own lives. And if not, give it a shot, some of the things I'm getting at here. You never know. And with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to history. 21st episode puts us in the 1% club. So thank you for the guys who've been here and ladies who've been here from the start. You guys are amazing. It's fun. It definitely is fun to do. The prep's not always so much fun being here in front of a camera and eventually getting a bigger studio, which I've been thinking of renting out. Maybe it's like a big episode sometime down the road with a few of my buddies or something is definitely cool. Something to look forward to, something to, feel like I've earned. So thank you guys so much for being here again. Whatever else you want to see down the road, please just let me know. That's what gives me inspiration on what to make and how to do it. And yeah, I think that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday weekend. By the time you're seeing this, it'll already be following Memorial Day. I don't know if I'm actually going to upload it the day of or the day following, because I always upload on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern. But regardless, I hope you guys do enjoy your holiday, whether you're seeing this now or after. And as always, I love you guys, and God bless America.